There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim. The Genesis 6 narrative states that the Nephilim are on the earth in those days and also afterwards. If that's true, can we find evidence that corroborates this? I'm L.A. Marzulli. Join me as we go on the trail of the Nephilim. We're going to talk about the diaspora that happened 3,500 years ago when Joshua and Caleb pushed into the promised land. Giants, the Nephilim, fled, and they were absolutely terrified. So we'll get into that and so much more. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Gold has been on an unstoppable run. It has gone up more than 81% in the last 5 years and almost 20% in the last 12 months. Folks, it's happening. Central banks are ditching the dollar and U.S. treasuries are buying more gold. The good news, it is predicted to go up more. UBS even said it might go up to $5,000 an ounce. Noble Gold Investments' phone has been ringing off the hook. Everyone wants to protect their retirement with gold, and folks, you can do the same. Noble Gold Investments can help you secure some gold to protect your future. From day one, you work with the same dedicated all-American experts. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced investor, Noble Gold Investments will make sure you get all the help you need. And this month, Noble Gold Investments will give you a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin if you open a qualified account. Folks, go to noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. We've invested, and I am really glad that we did. All right, folks, this is from Joshua 11, 21, 22. And Joshua came at that time and cut off the Anakim. Anakim means long neck. It's one of the many tribes that are in the Levant when Joshua and Caleb press the conquest of the promised land. And what people need to understand, and it's so clear in Genesis 3:15, their seed will be at war. The dragon seed will be at war. Satan's, the serpent seed will be at war with the seed of the woman. The proto-evangelion, the one coming from the woman, will crush the dragon's head. Now, it's Genesis 3:15. It's as plain as can be. Thank you, Gary Stearman, for unpacking that, as they say, to us many, many years ago at the Nephilim Mounds Conference. So what you've got, and the Lord gave me this a while back, not that far back, maybe like early or late last year, early this year, I should say. Thank you. But when the pre-incarnate Jesus appears to Abraham with the two angels, he says the two angels ahead, they're going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Nephilim strongholds, in my opinion. Read Jude. Don't have time to get into that. But Jesus says to Abraham, hey, you're going to be a great nation, but you're going to go down to Egypt for 400 years until the sin of the Amorites comes into its fullness. Well, what does that mean? Remember, right now we've got Abraham and Sarah. That's it. Abraham and Sarah. That's what we've got. We got two people, and they're in their 90s. Well, that's not going to work. So when they go down to Egypt, and I got this from Chuck Missler, Sarah is taken by the Egyptian Pharaoh into his harem. The Egyptian Pharaoh's not going to take a 90-year-old, old woman, right? He's not going to do that. So Missler ran the theory that both Abraham and Sarah, who were by that time well beyond childbearing age, regenerated them. That's conjecture. The biblical text doesn't say that, but there's enough hints in there that makes one scratch their head. I'm not making a dogma out of this thing or, Hilda dying or anything like that, but I do find it interesting as a student of the biblical prophetic narrative, just how does that work when they're 90 years of age? And that's why Sarah's laughing, because she knows, well, this isn't going to happen, but it does happen. And out of the seed of Abraham, all the tribes will be blessed. All peoples on earth will be blessed. But so Abraham and Sarah go down there. The Egyptian people are there for 400 years. Finally, Moses and Aaron come in. That's where we get Torah, and the whole conquest of Canaan begins. The Anakim are the long necks. All right, so let's pick it up from there. And Joshua came at that time and cut off the Anakim from the hill country, from Hebron, from Debir, and from Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua devoted them to destruction with their cities. There was none of the Anakim left in the land of the people of Israel. Only in Gaza, in Gath, and Ashdod did some remain. Wow. And this is why we see years later, the troublemaker Goliath comes into the picture. And David takes 4 stones, one for Goliath and the other 3 for his brothers. But I digress. What I want to call your attention to here is 2 things. One, only in Gaza. Here's my caveat. In no way, shape, or form am I stating that Hamas and the people that live in Gaza are descendants of the Nephilim. I'm not saying that at all. So what I am stating here is that I believe there's a territorial spirit over that particular area that's never been deposed. And I'll state it again. In no way are we saying that the people of Gaza or the so-called Palestinians or Hamas even are the descendants of a Nephilim. But I do find it interesting that now in modernity, the fact that Joshua and Caleb did not go into those places and specifically clear the land of the Anakim, they have come back to haunt the people of Israel. If you've not read Amos 9, 14, and 15, I wish that this would go viral, because Generation Z needs to understand that this is prophecy. So this is from Amos 9, verse 14 and 15. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel. And they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Lord thy God. That's written, thousands of years ago. We know that the temple was destroyed in AD 70, and then the rebellion happened again around 125, 130, somewhere in that area. And the Jews were punished very severely, and they were not allowed in Jerusalem at all till Constantine. But the bottom line is this: Jerusalem is trodden over by the times of the Gentiles, okay? And in 1948, finally, Israel becomes a nation which fulfills the prophecy. I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel. They shall build the waste cities. That's exactly what has happened in 1948. Absolute mind-boggling, just incredible. And so they're there. And that's what I want to end on. Israel is back in the homeland. Never. What does it say here? They shall no more be pulled up out of their land. That's it. That's the end game. So while we see all this going on, we go back into antiquity, way back into Joshua, and we realize that they didn't clear the land. Now, I want to say something here. We believe that there was a diaspora of Nephilim tribes. When Joshua and Caleb came in, the Nephilim tribes, the Anakim was just one of them, saw what was going on, and they fled. How do we know this? There's a stele on the shores of North Africa, found and recorded by Procopius, the Roman historian. So I got this from Mark Kahn. Thank you, Mark, if you're watching. I appreciate it. And it says this: we are they who fled from the face of Joshua, the robber, the son of Nun. I'll say it again. We are they who fled from the face of Joshua, the robber, the son of Nun. What is that doing on the North Shore of Africa? Now, that stele no longer exists, as far as we know. But Procopius did record it. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that just a mind-boggler? There was a diaspora. They came from the Promised Land all throughout the Mediterranean, and that's why we're on the trail. And that brings me to a segue, which I'm going to do right now. So, folks, here's the deal. We are going across the pond. We've got a film crew, my business partner, Gil Zimmerman, and myself, and our sound man, Jim Peterson. That's what we have signed up so far. That can change. We'll see what happens. But these are real on the trail of the Nephilim hats. This one here is the one. Both of these are the ones I wore in the Watcher series, and then later on the trail. So we've got 2 hats here. I will sign them. I will make them a personal autograph to, let's say, Bob, and I'll sign it, and I'll probably sign it on the inside of the bill. I'll go to to whoever, to Bob, to Robert, to Rachel, whoever it is. Okay. Thanks for helping, L.A. Marzulli. So we're raising money to go across and film On the Trail of a Nephilim number. We don't know what number it is because we're actually in post-production on some stuff that we filmed last year. But now that the UFO films are completely done, we can get into this. So because we're raising money, I'm not looking for $20 donations. The starting price for these hats, because there's only 2 on the entire planet. I wore these in all of the films right here. Okay, these hats have been all over the world. So the starting price is $1,000. And I realized, okay, whoa, but we know that people out there who collect stuff like this have that kind of money. We're trying to get over there and film. Why? Because we're on the trail of a Nephilim. And this is a way that you too can be on the trail and have the official L.A. Marzulli On the Trail of a Nephilim hat that I wore down in Peru and Sacsayhuaman in Israel and all throughout Europe. Anyway, folks, that's it. Our pre-sale coming up on 9 and 10. Go to the website, lamarzulli.com, lamarzulli.com. There's still time to do a pre-order on the DVDs. They will be streaming once we have the DVDs in our hand, but they'll be for like $9.99 each. All the DVDs right now, all 30, are for $4.99 for the price of a cup of coffee. Come on, guys. When you buy those DVDs on streaming.lamarzulli.net, streaming.lamarzulli.net, keep the lights on here. And you know what? You're arming yourself. There's 30 films. What are you waiting for? These little vignettes I do are like little 10, 15-minute things. You need to do a deep dive. Do your homework. Do your homework. That's why we lowered the price. It's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. No excuses. Now's the time. Download the videos, binge watch them, and check it out. Starting price for these, $1,000. I get it. It's steep, but we're trying to raise money. It's not cheap to go across the pond and film. We've got all these sites lined up. We've got boots on the ground over there that's working for us. It's going to be really cool. And these sites are incredible. And that's all I'll say. I'm not even going to give the country away. So, lamarzulli.net. lamarzulli.com. If you're interested, and you can place your bid by going to la@lamarzulli.net. That's my email, la@lamarzulli.net. In the heading, put, I want the hat. I want the hat. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for watching. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, there is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim.
Officials endeavoring to obtain all flying saucers.
Marcel's own words, it was something that he'd never seen before, something from another world. In our opinion, Marcel was the patsy.
Just verbal directions that we know was abandoned.
That his father was telling the truth.
He dead in the eye, and he said, it really happened, and he held his hand up just like this. They had 6 fingers, not 5.
He said they looked quite a bit like us.
Do you think your grandfather was a patsy?
100%.
A cover-up by the U.S. military.
Do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
I can't discuss in public setting.
Do we have the bodies of the pilots?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries.
He deliberately obfuscated and they lied to the American people.
When the Pentagon decided to lie about what happened at Roswell.
Because standing 6 feet away, this little being about 3.5 feet tall.
She said the nurses who were there during the crash, they're now at a convent.
The first book that Randall wrote, and he said to Jess, he said, that's not fiction.
But for everybody, I mean, this is a human thing. It's a worldwide changing, be life-changing for everyone.
It was certainly not a weather balloon and not something from this earth.